Thank you all for attending, and I'm still teaching about Mr. Trump and our relationship to the virus and a few other things, mainly focused upon the soul. And I want to give a little focus on what's known as the solar plex. Yeah, the place of there are a number of chakras in a person in certain mystical teachings like Tibetan Buddhism or Buddhism and Hinduism and other forms. They focus upon the fact that there are these spiritual centers, chakras, that are located within the body, going from the base of the spine going up to the top of the head, the very top of the head. And these are known as chakras, and each one has a direct connection to a certain level of spiritual understanding. They represent what's known as the seven rays, and the seven rays makes up all of creation, and it's also the workings of the mind of God. It's the palette that God uses to create life and sustain life, and it's omnipresent, it's omniscience, it's omniscience, it's manifested through the mind of God, and the mind of God is the monad. So the monad is expressed in ways that is rarely ever understood in mind, in human understanding. But it leads us to an inkling of knowing that God exists. That there's this constant impression coming from the monad that is constant, and it gives us the reality that God exists because it's literally permeating everything in life. But we can't witness it because it's so high and it's so low. It permeates the very center of every atom, but yet it comes from the highest level of spiritual awareness. So that's locked inside of every atom. Doesn't matter what atom, where the atom is located, it's locked in. So the monad is what it expresses. It's the energy that expresses. So it invokes. It through its own creation, it invokes and it initiates. It brings about change. It teaches. Without you knowing that you're being taught. Without you knowing that there's a working out of a plan in this world where everything seems to be out of control. And we can't make a lot of sense of it, but surrounding it. And all of it, is the reality of God, and located inside the chakras is a communication relationship that happens with God, because God uses only those chakras in order to relate. It doesn't use your lower mind. It doesn't do anything to help you make sense of something. That's understanding. That's co-creation. That has to do with your cognitive ability to take the time to learn a little bit of something and recognize and have that keep coming back around. And it's because you're filled with this wisdom that things start making sense. And you're getting an inkling of being able to be taught, by God. But it's at higher and higher and higher levels, and in each chakra is how you get taught. So let's say that spiritually, everybody knows that there are 7 chakras. If you've studied it or learned about it, there are 7 chakras. There are minor chakras. We won't go there, but the 7 chakras, they connect to locations in the body that are aligned to your organs and your glands. So the base center, it's aligned to the very, very lower aspect of your spine, and your ability to feel things that are happening right here and now. Yeah, very present of the moment. Yeah, extreme sensitivity and awareness. Yeah, is present there. It's possibly present, and as a human being or an animal or a plant, yeah, or anything, those chakras gives you intuition. They give you instincts and help you communicate. Yeah, so you from that chakra you can communicate with the earth. Yeah, it's a chakra that represents the earth. Yeah. So the next chakra up is one that represents relationships and how you relate to everything on earth, every single thing, yeah? And how that has a direct correlation to sustaining you, providing you life, yeah? From smelling things to feeling things to sensing things to every aspect of everything, seeing things, all your senses are brought into clarity through that center. Yeah, it's called the sacral center. Yeah, and it's also the center of personal relationship. How you interrelate at a higher level or even a lower level. You can attune to plants and animals and actually communicate and know the difference between poison and healthy and unhealthy, and your instincts could warn you in that relationship, just like they do animals. There's no books that animals read. It all comes from that sacral center. And animals have a strong sacral center. And they have a very strong base center. Yeah. And you could sense it in looking at an animal or witnessing an animal, but you can do the same when you witness corn. Or if you witness a flower and watch it go from a seed to sprouting leaves, and then a bud, and then what's that going to go, and then there's a flower, and if you're really, really totally in an amazing world, it turns into a fruit, and then out comes more seeds, and it's just real reality, but it's so overwhelmingly amazing, and that's the monad. The monad is expressing, and the monad is so beautiful as the creator. And this isn't Mother Nature. This is God, the Creator, is radiating to every single element, every existing element, His rays, His chakras. Yeah, and everything. You wonder, where does these flowers come from? How is it possible? We have wonderful streams. How could dinosaurs have lived and gone, and all of life exists the way it is for billions of years? It's the chakras that comes from the Lord. The Lord's been on earth since the beginning of time. And there's witness to it. Yeah. And when things are at a certain level in the Lord's chakras to radiating to the planet, then there's only certain chakras that are functioning on the planet, because the planet has chakras. Yeah. In the beginning, the planet had one continent. Yeah. One solid continent. Yeah. So God divided those continents into 7 rays, creating nations, manifestations of elemental control through God's grace. Like He says, you can move mountains. Just imagine, this is done by a singular entity. Just by witnessing through the earth, through relationship, through traveling, and seeing the harm things we're going through, the process the earth goes through, the devastating scenario the earth is in, and the need for everything to be what it is today in its manifestation comes from the planetary logos, sending these rays out. So all of a sudden we start getting certain animals in the ocean, and we start getting an enormous amount of life manifesting on earth very quickly, and at the same time those animals are manifesting a psychic energy to give energy into the earth so that the continents could be moved. This is done by the animals in co-relationship to the Lord. Yeah. This is truth. This is, it's a better story than the Bible, eh? But it's in the Bible. If you took time to read it, And it just takes a long time for each of these things to happen. But it says right in the beginning, the Lord created this world. Yeah. And then it goes you through the stages on day one. Day one, you know. That day lasted millions and billions of years. Yeah. And in each cycle was a chakra. And there were 7 cycles. Yeah. And that's when they hit the crown. And the crown touched the earth. Yeah. And it manifested himself in a physical form on the earth as Adam. Yeah. And all those chakras were in form coming out of the earth, from dirt to plants to animals to everything of every kingdom being manifest into Adam. Every single thing. And it was just a recapitulation of the Creator. Self-realizing, self-creating, thought form building. Yeah, just a matter of magnetic attraction that happened from the heart center, awakening in the earth, as God created all the chakras to come together. And when they did, they manifested as a human being known as Adam. Yeah, and that put law on the planet. That put everything on the planet. Everybody who lived from that moment on was a child of Adam. You know, went into the book of God. And God could read exactly what is going on earth. Every single thing. And have no disconnection whatsoever in the relationship of the plan. Where before that, there was an enormous amount of evil and upheaval. You know, manifestation of fallen angels and other ungodly realities that were manifesting, creating disasters on earth and situations that were constant, from monsters to giants to you name it. It existed, and it coexisted along with God's plan. And that wasn't God's plan. That was the inhibiting of God's plan, usurping the same elements that should be working in cooperation with God. And they turned into lunar lords and lunar forces, yeah, that manifested into glamours. Yeah. So by the time humanity came into play and animals came into their full existence, there existed glamours. And glamours was inhibited only by the relationship with the Lord. Yeah, they were held at bay. Yeah, so that was known as paradise. Yeah, but yet everywhere else there was glamours. Everywhere. Yeah, and after the relationship of there no longer being a paradise, no longer being a sacred point, then all there was the constant reincarnation of the patriarchs of Adam that maintained light on earth for about 1,000 years, 900 years, 800 years at a time. You know, maintaining direct bloodline lineage of the Lord as the children of the Lord, the existing children of the Lord. And there may be only 100 out of the whole planet. Yeah. And that manifested co-creative qualities, moving the planet into co-creative qualities. Yeah. But it didn't bring the chakras into humanity. The chakras were still in a state of evolution. The chakras were fulfillment in Adam, but not fulfillment in all of the earth and in all of humanity and the overcoming of the fallen aspects of angels, which radiate the same chakras, the same spiritual energy in an exact opposite form. And it's the Dark Lodge, and it coexists. So it's these chakras that make the difference. We could think, we could change this or we could do that, but the truth is, it's in the chakras. And it's really located in the solar plex. Talked about the base center, the sacral center, but now when you get to the solar plex, you get to a location that literally becomes the place in which you can identify the Lord. You have a personal relationship with the Lord. Here, your base center is that you can feel and sense all the energy that's coming from the earth. That's the Lord. And it's highly spiritual. Yeah, it's linked, and you're human. So you have a soul. And your body is a vessel to receive that, starting from your base center. It fills it up there. When you feel the harmony, despite the conflict, it's because of the Lord. The Lord sees you through it because of the Holy Spirit. And that's filling your vessel. Yeah, that's coming from the monad of the Lord, the Holy Spirit. Yeah, and then there's the love of the Lord. Yeah, and that surrounds you in a protective understanding. You know, where your mind is able to conquer your emotional body. But if your mind can't conquer your emotional body, then you get a lower mind, and you start channeling. Yeah, and those chakras start becoming direct frequencies of what's known as the astral plane. And that all comes out of the solar plex. Not the other chakras, just the solar plex. Yeah? So if you study the solar plex, it's the one where you can witness the Lord because you have a psychic ability through the other two chakras of being on earth, being a child of God and having a soul and relating to everything in a harmonious way, doing no harm. You know, that's your nature. And as that comes up to you witnessing the Lord, then all of a sudden you have no guilt. You have no shame. Yeah? There's nothing in that lower chakra that you did that was harmful. There's nothing in that next chakra up that you might have done in a relationship that was harmful. Yeah? But if those two chakras have been tempted and brought into a bad situation, like your mom may be a hateful person, or your dad could be a certain way, or your teacher could be a certain way, or some relationship throughout your life comes in and causes you harm, and you can't get over it because you lose trust. Yeah, you lose your ability to move forward. Yeah, because you simply can't trust the world you're in, or yourself. You lose that constantly as you're moving on. And that's that fourth ray. You had to have had control over that fourth ray to receive the blessings of the Lord that's coming from the monad, which is really high, and you have to stay high to receive those impressions. And if you go low, you lose those impressions, and that chakra changes dramatically. Yeah. It sees things like a conspiracy. It starts seeing things as though there's some phenomenon going on and you better sacrifice a child. It sees things as though, oh, the stars are controlling us, you know, and we need to study astrology in order to have control over our own life. Yeah, it's lower psychicism weeding in, coming in, into those very, 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 they're provided chakras, you know. You're receiving fruit and vegetables and life. Yeah, all of it is provided. Yeah, but when you receive this lower psychicism, you go into a conspiracy, and you can't see what you should be seeing, and you have it's because there's an environment down at the fourth ray that's lying to you. Yeah, that sets you up, and it's completely, constantly keeps setting you up, because it's putting out a different chakra, a different ray at that chakra than what should be there from the Lord. It should be the fourth ray, but it's not. It's the seventh ray. It's sex magic and money magic. It's black magic being done, you know, in humanity. And as they begin that process, they have to use. All right, I believe I'm on air. Yeah, hi. All right, so today, I'm going to teach a little bit ongoing relationship to the virus and its relationship to the world, and the closest country to us, which is Canada, and its relationship to Canada. And I'm going to talk a little bit about the influence of the hierarchy on these relationships, and that I can kind of show you that there is soul involved in the world, yeah, and that it's affecting how the virus was dealt with. You know, why certain countries are doing really well, no deaths at all, and others are doing really bad, yeah, and that's mainly because they're corrupt. That's mainly because since they're corrupt, they can't talk to each other because they feel guilty. So when you feel guilty and you can't talk to each other and you're corrupt, then if you have a Democrat here and a Republican there or any other separative parties, then those become separative parties, competitive parties. When you're under stress, then the other guy's doing it. And the other guy's not doing well enough, or you're going to lie about things, like in America. Yeah, America, we have this enormous insanity. But it's a symptom. You know, with me here and explaining this to you, you can understand that we are in the middle of world healing, the healing of the nations. Yeah? And that masses are dying because they don't know how to heal. Yeah? Others are not dying because they're being taught how to heal and they're doing it. Yeah? So there are masses. America is the masses. 2,000 people in 48 hours death. That's a lot. 2,000 people died in 48 hours just in the last few days. Okay. Let's see here. How's that? That better? Yeah, that's much better. Okay. So 2,000 people dead, yeah, in America. Canada, 0. 0 people died, yeah. Canada got the virus same time we did, yeah. Canada has a president just like we do, yeah. Canada has a government, yeah, just like we do. But the bad side, it's got socialized medicine. You know how everybody thinks about that when you're crazy. Yeah, when you got liars and things like that, like America, we simply cannot talk about anything. We can't understand any form of truth because we got liars back and forth telling lies, exaggerating, despising the truth, for whatever reason. And the reason is that they're from the left-hand path. There is a dark lodge, a hierarchy within that dark lodge. Yeah, there is a white lodge. Yeah, a hierarchy within that white lodge. Those people are alive and well and living in this world. Yeah, but so are the people of the dark lodge. But I'm finding them individually. Yeah, I'm pushing them into what they think is their destiny, so that they can get away with all that they plan on getting away with and be caught in the middle of getting away with it. Yeah. As everybody else's awakening is happening, their soul is infusing. These corrupt, dark lodge, demonically filled beings are on a heyday, thinking that they've got this thing really mustered, and everybody's crazy about this ecological disaster and the possibility that the ocean's going to rise. Yeah, they're all going, that's insane. The ocean doesn't rise. What would make the ocean rise? That's impossible. If anything, it'll go down. That's what the dark side says. Yeah, the ocean doesn't rise. What would make the ocean rise? What, too much rain? Yeah. Then they go to the Bible thing. And since they're all Satanists, that's a big process, Yeah. But the ocean's going to rise, people. Yeah. It's going to rise because of the Arctic. I've known this, since I was a little kid. It was in National Geographic, It was even in engineering magazines. It was in Psychology Today. There was an article in Playboy. Yeah. I mean, the information's there for you. Yeah. All you need to hear it is once, and then start getting focused. You know, the information's there, and we need financial support. We need governmental understanding. We need people aware. We need to take very strong attitude toward doing the best we can to make this happen the slowest possible way it can, knowing that it's inevitable. It's going to happen. Yeah? Because they're glaciers. They're glaciers. And we do have a warming. When you have a warming, the glaciers begin to melt. When the glaciers begin to melt, these are solid rocks of ice sitting on top of mountains. Much of it is below the sea. So we witness that. We see, ooh, looks like it's all a big solid piece of ice. Yeah? Yeah. But in reality, it's covering up the top of a mountain. Much of that goes uphill. It's not at the level of the sea. Yeah? But a great deal of it, along the coastline, especially in a certain location, the northern location, yeah? Where this side over here, lower side, yeah? That process has a great deal of mass that's not mountain. Yeah? It's actually under the sea. And it's got glaciers on top of it. So that's breaking up and melting, slowly but surely. Some large sections. And if the large section melts, then the whole section, this is 1/4 of the Arctic, falls apart. Falls into the ocean. Yeah? And then the ocean goes up by 5, 10 feet. The whole world. The ocean goes up, yeah? We lose a major portion of Florida, yeah? Chicago, New York, yeah? We lose the coastlines. There's nothing you could do about it. If you study it, all the stupid, demonically possessed people that can't take the information and are doing everything to do what? Build walls. Build walls, like Trump trying to stop people from coming to America. Build walls, that'll do it. China did that, it never worked. Yeah? There's never been a time you build a wall other than in movies when it's an apocalypse and they put a wall around a whole city, and according to the TV channel, it works. And people cannot get to the other side unless they go through enormous processes to get to that other side. It's all in the movies. Does Trump watch TV? I think so. Yeah. I think Trump lives on TV. Trump is a TV star. Yeah. His whole relationships in life are around bullshit, lying, conning people. Yeah. So for him to understand anything to do with glaciers and greenhouse effect and the loss of masses of land, his own house will be gone. Yeah. All of Florida where he lives and he thinks it's great and he's building it up and all that, gone. Yeah. There's no insurance that's going to cover it. Yeah. You know, it's going to be that way for a lot of people. You can't resell something that's gone into the ocean. But the idiots go, well, we'll just build on top of it. You know, we'll create a fake island. And we'll build an island on top of it. You can't really do that. There's no outcome to something like that. That's just ridiculous. You have to pull back. Yeah? You have to pull back as far as you possibly can and realize this is going to continue going on over hundreds and hundreds of years in the future. And the best we can do is deal with it correctly. Set up systems so people don't buy property in that area. Don't sell Chicago anymore. Don't sell New York anymore. It's all going to be under 20 feet of water. You know, Trump Towers, you're going to have to dive to get to the front door. You know, it's not going to be real. None of this is going to be real. Yeah. And at the slowest rate, it would take 100 years for it to really get to that rate. But it's in increments of bad weather and more events that come up and gives us, all these floods and all these things that happen because we're not aware that not just the glacier process is taking place, but weather is changing dramatically. Yeah? What would be normal 100 degrees gets to be normal 105 or 106. And that makes a dramatic difference in the world, in energy, in everything, in life, in growth of plants and animals for their existence, people for their existence. The higher it goes up, the harder it is to maintain life. Yeah? The more we need to be inside with air conditioning. That's going to take more energy. That's going to take more people to have more money to live in those conditions. Yeah? So we got to think way ahead. We got to think tiny house. We got to think solar. We got to think really high quality air conditioning and air purification. Yeah? So that we don't have to, in 20 years, find out we've been breathing the most toxic air that's going to ever be on Earth. And we didn't do anything about it. We walked around breathing it, thinking it was okay, no sense wearing a mask. But it really is real bad. We're just ignorantly aware of it right now, and it's causing a lot of deaths. It creeps in to your liver. It creeps in to your intestines. Yeah? Even your skin is the biggest gland you got, and it absorbs impurities. Yeah, you can get toxins coming through. Then that has to pass through your kidneys. That has to pass through your liver. It has to pass through a detoxifying process for you to continue staying alive while you're out there in this environment. Yeah. So we need to really become aware of the fact that we need much more better purified water that has minerals in it, as though we were in 100 years in advance. And not in the world we're in, because industries are polluting the water we're drinking. Yeah? The food you're eating, the animals are eating and drinking water that's highly bad. Hormones and plastic and all kinds of things are in most of the food that you eat. The water that you drink has got hormones in it by the breakdown of plastic. And it's very hard to measure. You have to stop it. Then you have to wait through the 20 or 30 years it takes for the trees to grow back, for the soil to regenerate, for the natural purification of ecology to manifest, to bring us back into a healthy environment. And until then, we have to become very much more aware of it and start taking certain steps to protect ourselves, just like we're doing now with our mask, with the virus, with the whole thing. In order to be a spiritual person, you have to be a temple. In order to be a temple, you have to know the impurities or the imbalance that comes your way, and you have to balance it out. It's your job. That's your temple job. Yeah? So it's almost impossible to bring things right when we have a left-hand spin going on in the Dark Lodge. So like in the United States, we have all these things said about the coronavirus, all these things said about how we should deal with it, all these different things, and the outcome is horrendous. Even though Canada is, say, I think it's 35 million people, yeah, to a whole of a country, and we're 350 million people. So that's a tenth. Yeah? And if you keep breaking it down, when they have people, they have 35 million people, but they have no deaths. Break it down. Yeah? That's like, whoa, we're in a bad shape because we just had 2,000 deaths in the last 48 hours. And we're 350 million people, and we have a president who is slowing down testing. Slowing it down. He's asking counties and telling, governors, and he's telling different people, slow it down. You won't look so bad. It won't cost us so much money. This is costing us a fortune to test people every day. And now they're finding out that the test that they're using, that is the quick test, 5-minute test, 5 minutes to 30 minutes, doesn't work. It never has worked. I told you that in the beginning when I showed you all the different tests that they have available for testing. And then these are the tests that actually work and don't work. And the ones that don't work are the quick tests. Yeah, they're by Abbott and a few other people that put those tests out quickly, and they were already available, but they really only had a 60% chance of getting accuracy. 60% doesn't work, you know. It just means that occasionally you're going to get a positive, and therefore you're going to think that it's working. Yeah, but it's only 60% of the time. So you take it again a week later and you got a positive. You probably had a positive the first time you took it. Yeah. You know, so none of them are really working, and those are the ones the government's using. And since things are so priority, you know, we're in a priority state in the United States, it's government officials and athletes, football players, basketball players, people who are going to play on TV, people who are going to make money on the big level, you know. Those people have been authorized to have the quick testing, but not old people, not regular people, yeah? And even though it doesn't work, you know, it's just a thought, just a fact that they're keeping testing away from people. And all the testing, if you look in the United States, our testing's going down, our deaths are going up, yeah? We're looking at testing. We used to see testing going way up and thinking, wow, that's what we're going to measure by. But I always said you got to measure by hospitalization and you got to measure by deaths. And testing is a way for you to understand the variable of just how many people are out there that are positive, you know? And then you look at all the people that are in the hospital and all the people who are sick, and there's a long line, a list of levels of illness that you go through the moment you've been made eligible to come. Oh, I can't breathe, you know? I have so much heart pressure. I can't go to the bathroom. I have aches and pains all over. You know, I have at least 5 of the main symptoms of coronavirus. Yeah. And you get that, you get to go to the hospital. Yeah. Then but if you're in the hospital and you can't breathe, then they want to do this whole other level. Yeah. Which is the level of keeping you alive. Because now you're going to get clots, you're going to get problems with no oxygen to all your major organs, including your brain. And that's what this coronavirus does. It starts shutting down the entire system so you cannot receive oxygen from both your lungs or any of your organs, and it actually goes into your brain. There's no separating filter that normally is there to keep things from making it into your brain. This passes strictly into the brain. It could stay there for 10 or 20 years. Yeah? So what if you do get passed as positive? Yeah? The virus gets in your brain. Now you're going to have symptoms, ongoing symptoms. And if you get this virus again, you're going to react to it totally different because you've already got the virus in certain parts of your body. And the last part of your body that it heals in is the brain. Yeah, and that's really a bad, sick virus. That's really a bad virus. Yeah, because we're thinking, oh, the virus goes to the lungs, or maybe the virus affects people who are really already sick and makes those symptoms a whole lot worse, and they could die from that simply because they already have symptoms that they could die from if they got worse. Yeah, and the virus made it worse, so then they die. Yeah, but that's really not the truth. The truth is that this virus is very different than what we think it is. And unless we shut it down, unless we cooperate, unless we don't go out, yeah, unless we don't send kids to school, unless we don't send kids to college, yeah. Imagine what happens if you send kids to college. What do you do in college? You party. You do not go to college to go to college. You go to college to get away from your parents for the first time, and drink and do drugs and have sex as much as you possibly can. All day, all night, as much as you possibly can. That's college. Yeah. It just is what it is. People are flagrant in the process of it. If you don't go to that party, you're going to be left out. Yeah. There's a big thing about going on. It's not anymore about sororities or any of that kind of stuff. It's about party. It is partying. And then when you get a break, you go get drunker. You take over cities, you take over them everywhere, and you just hoard thousands of you into an area and get drunk. But now, right now, that's not a good idea. That's not a good idea. Putting kids in college is not a good idea. Who's going to contain them? Which one of them is going to make the right decisions when they're there to party? Yeah, there's no morals, there's no ethics, nothing's been built up to make these mature people. Yeah, they've reached 18, they're 19 now, you know. Their guns are ready, they're locked and cocked and ready to go. You know, they're just totally solar plex, emotionally driven people. Yeah, and they have no idea what they're going to do in their life, so they don't give a shit about what they're doing right now. They're getting drunk. Most of the presidents of the United States spent most of the time in college getting drunk. You know? Yeah, almost all of them. You know? So there's really nothing. We do not have a maturity growth process, you know, that starts off at a young age, that gets us to 18 or 19. You know, even in the military, you're so stupid you're going to go kill people. That's so solar plex, it's ridiculous. Plus, you're going to get drunk and do all the drugs and everything else. You know, have crazy sex whenever you want, you know, because you're in the military. Now you deserve it. You could die tomorrow. Yeah, you leave many kids behind in many different countries. You know, look at Vietnam. Millions of kids were left behind. Yeah, black kids, white kids. Yeah, just left behind. And they can't be spoken to. They can't be treated well. Nobody in their country wants them. They hate them. Not because their fathers were of the militaries, because they're not Vietnamese. You know? They're big and they're half black and they're looking totally different. But they're still stuck in a village. They're still just a little Vietnamese kid or old person now. Yeah? You know, so this lack of morality, you know, is ruining the world. You know, we can't get people to an 18-year-old age and not have them develop maturity by the time they're 18. And you don't do that by beating them. You don't do that by sending them to school and teaching them how to play sports. Yeah. You do it through meditation, contact with masters. Yeah. An elevated way of communicating with them at all times. Yeah. An ability to raise them up when there's a question, give them an answer, and then show them a way. And it clarifies their mind to, you know, well, I didn't understand, to I do understand. And you can't make a difference in your life until you understand. Yeah. You got to, that part of your brain, that part of your emotional body, your mental body, your physical body, those things have to connect together. Or nothing is really understood, no matter how many times we're told it. We can't add it up because we need those physical, emotional, and mental bodies working together in a balanced state. We can't do that if we're corrupt. Yeah? And we're with corrupt people, and our teachers are corrupt. And the books that we're reading are lies. And the history we're trying to present ourselves is bullshit. And we don't read anything about Native Americans. And yet we're in America. How's that possible? We don't even know the name of Illinois and where it came from. We don't even know the name of Indiana and where it came from. Yeah? Why is Omaha, Omaha? Yeah, Omaha who? Omaha Indians? Yes. Yeah. Why is all this the way it is? Yeah. All the things that go on, we take through assumption because we're so hit by the Dark Lodge that defiles us with lies and illusions and small bits of information that are diluted and wrong, just like this coronavirus process. Or if we want to vote for somebody. Yeah, you got a president coming up. What's the chance of you being able to understand either one of them at all? Because all you got coming at you is lies and illusion and corruption and, stereotypical ways of bias and prejudice, that just locks you in to becoming another group. This group, oh, I'm off for flowers. Oh, I'm off for vegetarian. Oh, I'm off for children. I'm off for newborn babies. Well, I'm off for, all these things that never get fixed. And everybody just jumps onto those as their priority. These are things they find to be important. Yeah. And it's because we're not in a situation in the White Lodge. The White Lodge has a view that picks up everything from technology to needs and hospital reality of science and education and personal education and personal changes, and then the ability to provide those things rather than just educate and leave people off on their own. It has to be a holistic approach. The government has to be included in the truth of the history of the nation. Yeah? You can't, we have a government, we have a constitution right behind me. Everything's written there. If you read that, yeah, you would have a greater understanding as to how this thing is supposed to run and where it's coming from. Yeah? Rather than just assume, Columbus discovered America. That's not in the Constitution. It doesn't say Columbus discovered America. It's for you to understand, where did we come from? What is this place about? We're under a process of certain laws and alienable rights that are in people that need to be fostered. That's it. That's what the government is for. But to do that, we have to provide the truth. Yeah? We can't have a democratic, Republican, separative government. It can't be like that. Yeah? It has to be like the government. The government is set up under democracy. Yeah? You can't separate it into many different governmental ways of looking at things and think that that's democracy. Yeah? Because democracy is set in a very specific way. It means that you have to tell the truth and keep people evolving in that truth by developing the technique of creativity. Everybody becomes industrial, creative activists. They create new technologies, new cars. That's America. That's what we are infused with, is the ability to collectively work together and focus on the truth. But you have to have a governing body that is wise enough and clear enough to actually want to be educated about the truth, rather than just a delusionary government. Yeah? A delusionary government, it's a skeptic. Yeah? One is, I don't believe in the Democrats. I'm a skeptic. I don't believe in the Republicans. I'm a skeptic. But these people isn't that they don't believe in each other, is that they absolutely believe the other one is crazy. Crazy in the mind. Yeah? Completely crazy. Yeah? Corrupt. That they're going to do, listen to what Trump says. If you vote for Joe Biden, you will have a Hitlerian country. Your country will start looking like Hitler's country. Swastikas everywhere. Wow. That's insane. But that's what he's putting into your minds, because that's where he's coming from. That's what he created the moment he became president. Swastikas everywhere. Yeah. KKK everywhere. And they all stepped up and said, we're voting for Trump. Yeah. Bikers everywhere. Hell's Angels everywhere. We're voting for Trump. Yeah. People who, just are holding on to a process of having some form of control. Yeah. But they don't have any control. Their process is anger and hate. And it's based on wanting to control through anger and hate. That's the Dark Lodge. It's the Dark Lodge. So imagine another government. Yeah. Canada. Yeah. You got, it's not utopia. You know, it's not brighter and better. You know, they don't have Tesla. They don't have all the major technologies coming out of there, and they don't have all the things you find in America. But if you were living there, you'd find it wouldn't be any different than living in America, because all these things are shared. As though it doesn't matter if you use these things. It doesn't mean that you're American. And if I use these given things, that means that I'm Canadian. Yeah? It's the offering of things, anything that's available through a wiser mind. It's your choice of what you choose to have in your life. You want a Chevy, you want a Tesla, you want this in your life, these things in your life, that comes to you. Yeah? There's no marketing relationship that we boycott American products. Yeah? And we make it easy for people to buy Canadian products in America. And there's a lot of them. An enormous amount of Canadian products. They make cars. They make all kinds of things for everything in building your house and everything in building your industries. Yeah, a great deal of products come from Canada. Yeah, but they don't like Canada made. You know, but they're going to start doing that. Yeah, because they're so soft in the non-left-hand spin, where everything has to be me, my. Things like that. And you could see that when it came down to the coronavirus. The reason why they worked right was because both sides allowed science to take over. They allowed science to take over. Yeah? They had a Fosse, you know, and that Fosse they stood behind. And that Fosse was allowed to get on the microphone and say, everybody, you need to wear your mask. Everybody, you need to stay home. And everybody on both sides, President and all, said, that's right. We totally agree with that. And they'd have their masks on and everything. You know, that's what we have to do, no matter how hard we have to do it. And that only took a month. And it never went up. Never, ever. Yeah? Just down. Yeah? Yeah? Mainly because the politicians were there to support the need. And they could deal with that need in the moment, as everybody else could. Yeah, France could, Germany could, India could, but each one of them had their own crazy left-hand spin to it. Mexico said, oh no, we're Mexican. We don't get a virus. Yeah? We got Mexican blood. You know, it's those Americans or other people out there that get sick. You know, don't you worry about it. As the president is coughing, you know, don't you worry about it. You know, as his assistant over next to him is like, oh my God, yes, don't worry. It is okay. And he's in the hospital 2 days later. Yeah. And the whole country goes down the tube. And the president keeps going, don't you worry. It'll be okay. It will go away. Yeah. Always, just like President good old Trump. And this is on the lowest end of political outcomes. People who have not developed much governmental direction, not much governmental policy, you know, a whole lot of corruption throughout their country, you know, so there could be a dictator in that country at any given time. Yeah. And it's the same thing with Nicaragua. It's the same thing with Venezuela. It's the same thing with a lot of countries, and all of them fall apart because their dictator always says, it'll go away. Don't worry, it'll go away. Yeah? Why? Because they have a stockpile of money. And what they see for the treasury for the country that they are supporting is their money. Not yours, theirs. So it's really hard for them to spend it, even though it's really not their money. They have their own corruption, their own ways of getting money. They're filling up everything that's going on, you know, in their own ways, just like Trump, you know. But when he sees someone say, oh, we need to give them $2 trillion so we can get them out of debt and we can make sure they da-da-da-da, he went crazy. He went mad. That's not possible. Then on the side, he's calling the head, you know, of post office and saying, hey, what ideas have you got to slow down this thing so I could start saying, you have no idea how bad the post office service is, and that all these things are going to get lost, because he's back there in the back talking to the head of the post office, hiring a man who's never been the head of anything like that before. Yeah, a man who owns a business, $30 million. He's in business with a competitive company to the post office. So when the post office goes down, his competitive company, the guy who runs a post office, makes enormous amount of money. Yeah, it's like, are you kidding me? But yet it's our president that set that up, because everything to him is about money. And he got that guy to slow down the process and get rid of the automated counting process for sorting your mail. You can sort 30,000 letters in a day. Yeah? Well, now they got to take them by hand and sort them, do all that, because he's taking them out of the buildings. And then he's also taking, those post office boxes that we'd all go to on the side of the street, and we'd stop and we'd put our letters in and everything. Look around. They're not there anymore. They're being taken away, slowly but surely. In Portland, 12 of them were taken away the other day. 34 will be taken away within the next week. This is all happening coming up to the relationship of us being able to vote. Yeah, it's just amazing. Chaos on the left-hand spin is what's going on. Yeah, and it's not going to change anything to the vote. It's just chaos. It's just chaos. It puts us in chaos. Yeah, so there's a lot in that process, but there is a lot more in the process of the soul. There are, every country, if you look at all the countries, they all had elevated soul, which means their numbers went down, deaths went down, yeah? Because the people who went into service, the people who were told to stay home, stayed home, lockdown, wear your mask, all that kind of stuff. People collaborated with the relationship of the soul. Yeah, so masses of people are getting better in the process. Yeah, but we just had, I think, I don't know what it was. It'll say it in just a minute. But there was an enormous surge in the number of people who have gotten positive in the world over the last week because of the United States and other places letting people go back out. Yeah, let's start up some games. Let's do some baseball. Let's do kickball. Let's do hockey. Let's do some more stuff. Yeah. So that has elevated everything to come back, because they're finding that the virus hasn't gone away at all. It's still there. And as long as we don't keep these things going, and keeping ourselves in this place, it's going to continue. And we have high schools going in. We have people going to college, and they're going to come home. Because where do they go when they leave their apartment and they can't live in their apartment anymore? Home. They go back to mom and dad. Yeah. Well, where do they go when the college closes down and they have to get on their thing and they can't afford anything anymore? Yeah. They're stuck just hanging out, having to do their internet online. They're going to go home to mom and dad. Yeah. And by the time they get home, there's going to be so many teenagers and kids who are going to college who have positive COVID virus. And I mean a massive amount. By the time they come home from college, have gone through that process of partying, it's all going to pick right back up as though we never started it. Yeah. And then Trump is just going to keep saying, well, we got to get them back into college. Oh yeah, that happened, but we're going to fix that. Don't worry, it'll all go away. Yeah. So, that's what they're saying. So here is Canada.
Continues to set new single-day records for cases. Our neighbors to the north in Canada are experiencing a completely different situation. We'll show you this graph, and you can take a look at the lines. Well, the number of cases in the United States has been on a steep rise for months. Canada has somehow managed to keep their cases low and steady. CNN's Paula Newton is with me now. And Paula, how is it that Canada has just done this so right?
So I want to preface all of this, Brooke, and you know, you've gone through it already, that there are so many people in Canada right now saying, look, we didn't do everything right, and they are absolutely right about that. It is a disservice to all the people that have died of COVID in Canada to say it that way. But there was a key difference, Brooke, and me following this virus in Canada for 5 months, speaking to dozens of experts right across the country. The issue is, Brooke, they had a healthy respect for this virus, and at every turn, they realized they had to get it under control.
For Canada, it's been a hallmark of the pandemic: empty hospitals. The feared wave of COVID patients never happened. Canada started out much like the United States, but as the COVID curve climbed, Canada crushed it, now seeing on average just a few hundred new positive cases a day. That means right now, the U.S. is reporting more than 10 times more positive cases per capita than Canada. And yet vigilance has been the watchword. Early and widespread testing, a free healthcare system still building surge capacity, longer shutdowns, slower reopenings, social distancing. And there is no controversy over wearing masks. Most see it as their duty.
I wear it for myself and others. It protects them from me and me from them. It's just respectable to being respectful to other people.
Right from the top down, they're leading by example in terms of their use of masks.
British Columbia's top doctor acted as the country's early warning system, successfully managing the very first outbreaks and proving it could be done.
A lot of it comes down to cohesiveness, being able to provide the information that people needed to do what we needed them to do. And that has held up as we've gone into opening up things again. People still are adhering to the basics to try and ensure that we still keep each other safe.
Dr. Henry points to something else that was critical: keeping politics out of the response. Here's a conservative leader praising the Liberal Deputy Prime Minister.
Chrystia Freeland, what can I say? She's an absolute champion.
It would be like a Democratic governor calling Vice President Mike Pence their hero.
In general, we were all coming together. We had the same basic information for people, and the politicians made the right decisions based on advice, and that helped us.
Yep, that helps everything. Yeah, and it's everybody. You know, they've been in this process. You give socialist medicine. It's not a socialist country. You know, it's social medicine. Yeah, that's a different thing. Yeah, and it is just compassion. It's where you take your money. You know, people pay taxes, and you say, okay, we're going to pay for your college. Yeah, and we're going to pay for your school, and we're going to make sure that you don't have to pay for insurance, because we know how hard it is to live. Because you're giving us taxes, and we're going to put that money to work for you. You know, because this is on top of you working. You can't afford to pay for insurance. You can't afford to have all these things that you need to have, you know, that you're going to have to buy if we didn't think like this. Yeah. You know, if we didn't care. Yeah. You know, so they take those taxes and they put them in to a social welfare program. It's not socialism. Yeah. It's just what you do when you are not a corrupt person. If you're corrupted, you have no morals. If you have no morals, then you have no way of thinking in any way, shape, or form, like I just said. You know? You would be in a place of thinking, you need money, get out and make it. Yeah? You got to go make money. Yeah? Oh, you're poor and on the street? Well, you're unworthy. Yeah? You just be on the street. We'll let you get a tent or something, you know. We're not going to put a food program together for you. No, you could just stay on the street. Yeah. Look at Canada. How many people do you think they have on the street? How many KK people came out with guns saying that we want to take our masks off right away and get back to work? None. Nothing like that. Yeah. Even the people, they said, well, it's just respectful. What? Who? Anybody say that in America? Yeah. As everybody's defending themselves from people saying you're being used, you're being manipulated, this is a big hoax. All led by the president. Creating this emotional, isolating situation that keeps us from evolving into getting medicine for free. Where we should have that. We have to have that. Yeah. It's not we have to become socialists to do that. We have to become communists to do that, because all these people from the Dark Lodge would tell you, if you're going to care for somebody, you're a communist. If you're going to tell me we shouldn't go to war at a place we have no business going to war at, like Pakistan or Afghanistan or any other there's no real reason we're there. None whatsoever, other than the fact we get to go to war. Yeah. We're not allies with Afghanistan. We're not allies with Pakistan. We could be supportive. We could be supportive toward their government if their government isn't a terrorist government. Yeah. We can be supportive. That means financial aid toward health and medicine and food and things like that. But not war. Not military people going in with guns to support an already warlike situation in a country where we should not be involved in that. Yeah, it's not because we don't care. It's because it's the left-hand spin that walks us in there and is pushing us toward a major world war. That's the outcome. And there's absolutely no need for such an advanced human race to be anywhere near war. Anywhere near war, of any kind. It's the most ridiculous, absolute barbaric reality of human existence. Yeah? If you think God will smite you, if you keep this up, it won't be war that'll wipe you out. It will be the weather. God won't take this shit. Yeah? And it's really a matter of whether or not the soul can manifest so that we can be the temple, the earth, the heavenly abode that God has in destiny for this planet. And if we keep moving out of destiny of God, God's going to put us right back into destiny. And that's not good. That's not an easy thing. Yeah, because that just requires bad weather. Really bad weather. Mother Nature. Yeah? A lot of flooding. You give yourself 40 days and 40 nights. You could say bye-bye to almost every state in the United States. 40 days and 40 nights of constant rain. You'd say bye-bye. You'd say bye-bye to Belgium. You'd say bye-bye to Norwegian. You'd say bye to England. You'd say bye to everywhere. Yeah. It's just the water will rise. Yeah. Things will change. And we're in an ecological disaster because of our scenario. It's not, I could say bad karma, but it is. We have to change everything in order to appease God. We have to. We have to. Yeah? So and that's happening. Yeah? It's not like it's not happening. I'm just saying it has to happen, and it is happening, and these are the processes that's going on. But everybody in the United States has to give everything they possibly can to know that they have to be in a collective body of the soul. Everybody has to be in that body. And that means our president must represent the soul. Vice president must represent the soul. All the Senate and all the Congress and all of everybody in the government has to be soulfully integrated. Yeah? They have to be. Yeah, and that's not easy. But it's all about whether or not people in our own minds, for people that will take a minimalist attitude on our own behalf and take the burden away from the country. Right now, if we're in a capitalist state and we think we have to be football players with billions of dollars and all these things that go on, then we're ruining the country. We can't keep up with it. We will be in debt forever. You will be in debt. The country will be in debt. It's really the wrongest way to exist. Yeah? It's just wrong. Yeah? So it really is our country that is leading the way to capitalism in the world. China is becoming like us, and it's going to destroy the earth. They were willing to wipe away the earth by use of overabundant coal and the wiping away of beautiful rivers to create dams in order so in the future they can make money, enormous money, out of all that coal and all that oil and all those reserves, and sell those things and then start building solar. Yeah? But they would do all these horrible, evil things in order to make the money to do the things that would save them later. Solar would save them because solar is an economic investment. They'll make more money by investing later in solar. So it's not like they care. Does that make sense? They are major capitalists, just like Trump, just like Russia is a major capitalist. Yeah? And they're going to destroy the earth, and we're not going to have any edge as to what it is they're doing that's doing that. Yeah? And affect us all. It'll globally wipe away. So we're trying to gather together at the peace talks in Paris. We're trying to gather together the whole of the nations so we can better see this situation and deal with it in ways that each nation has a little bit more heart. And we focus upon the climate and not the nation, not the individual nation. But we take efforts in order to slow down by making climate control. Yeah? And that means we have to become minimalist. Yeah? We can't use oil. Yeah? To take away the use of oil would make us more minimal. Yeah? To take away coal would make us more minimal. To take away 1/2 the amount of meat consumption would make us more minimal. To take away an enormous amount of not feeding pets anymore would save the earth 100%. It's the feeding of pets is what pigs and chickens and cows and animals are bred for. Not human beings, but the pets you have in your house. Yeah? If you stopped having those pets in your house and you stopped opening up those cans of horse meat, yeah, and other animal byproducts, and those animals, they didn't live in the best possible way. You know? Those horses did not live in the best possible way before they died and became your little doggy's food. Yeah? That's really corrupt. Those businesses, Purina and all of them, are issuing people into the thought that they should have these pets so that they would buy from these pet food providers. And all the market of the little, toys and everything you want to get for your pet, your little jackets, your little hats, your little boots, everything, your backpacks, your bags, everything, But, this is a long ways from your consciousness because so much is immoral in you. You think having a dog is a moral effort. You're saving the dog. What a humane moral thought. Well, no, not really. Not if you see the big picture. Yeah? If you can be given the information coming from the truth. And then you got to deal with that because it is harmony through conflict. And to see the truth, it's like being slapped in the face. Yeah? It is so rough. And it's so true. It's like a big mallet. And it's so big and wide. You know, it's just like a cartoon. You know? Where you want to take the truth like that, you know, a little punch in the side of the head. Hey, can you remember? Hey, do you hear me? Hey. No, it doesn't work like that. No, it destroys you. Destroys you. Yeah? Because you're lying. And as long as you're here in the truth, you're in the truth, you're in it. Yeah? But if you're not of it, yeah, but you're only in it, then you're taking advantage of it. Yeah? And the truth becomes diluted, and that becomes the veil, and it's all 100% the astral plane. And every bit of suffering, according to Buddha, every bit of suffering comes from the desire body. Yeah? That comes out of the astral plane, that comes from your illusion to not to want to know the truth. Your desire is not to know the truth, but to maintain the little aspiration of whatever wisdom you can attain, you know, out of anything, yeah, and hold that as the truth. So that becomes a knowledge rather than the truth. So every time you get hit with truth, it hits you like a brick, yeah, because your knowledge is a piece of shit, yeah. It's like, you know, oh, absolutely, we can't go faster than a 4-minute mile. Absolutely impossible. No human being's ever done it. You know, once it's done, it's like done every week. A little faster, a little faster, a little faster. At times, people don't even touch the ground. They're moving so fast. What's up? Yeah. It's the limitation of the personality. Yeah. Things are much more real, you know, in the unlimited reality. You know, when we can actually work together and see things as a collective. That's what the soul is when we see things as a collective, we get powerful. Because it's a collective consciousness, not an individual's consciousness holding on, saying, I've got to have a pet. But a collective consciousness gives you morals and ethics and a conscience to see beyond your little tiny self and the actions it takes. Instead, you get the whole feel of the whole, of everybody. Yeah? And you just have no interest in having that dog in your house. Yeah? Outside the house, fine. If it's going to come to the door every day, fine. I'll give it some whatever scraps I got. But it's going to be scraps. It's going to be that. That's it. It's going to live its life out there, and if it comes back, that's the way it is. Whether you have a bird or you have a whatever you got to do your best to be an animal caretaker. Yeah? Where if you have a chicken, that chicken's serving you eggs, and it's living its life as a chicken. Yeah? But if you're going to have a dog, yeah, you are in service to that dog. And that dog is not in service to the earth or anything that's going on. It's outside of its life. Yeah. And it's an enormous burden to the planet. Yeah. Everybody says, you know, what if we were to stop eating beef? You know, imagine how much pollution, how much grass, how much all the vegetable, all the oxygen, all the burping that comes out of these creatures causes all that methane, causes all that problem in the ozone and everything. We're losing it. Why? Because we have too many cows. Yeah? Yeah. But we don't know that a great deal of these animals go to the animals. They go to the pets. Yeah? There's gourmet food out there for cats right now. Gourmet food. They're eating shrimp. You can buy crab if you want. It's in a can for your kitty. Yeah? With a special sauce, you know, that goes with it. I don't know if they have special treats now. I bet you they do, yeah. But everything means it's coming out of our food. It's coming out of our production of creating food, which is resources. And they are not sustainable. They're not. Having a pet is not sustainable. It's not. Having a little house is sustainable. Yeah? Having solar is sustainable. Having an electric car is sustainable. Yeah. Having friends is sustainable. Yeah. Having a cat that comes to your house and you take it and you give it a little food or something, that's sustainable. If it decides to go away, that's sustainable too. Yeah. But putting yourself in the category of, you know, I got to have a pet, I've got to have all these things, you know, material things, all the way down to pets, to monkeys, yeah, to take the place of babies, yeah. All these things, yeah. Those things are part of the left-hand spin. And it's because we don't have love. Yeah. And it's the soul that when we start to have love, we have to have self-love. Yeah. It can't be pity. We have a pet because we have pity. Oh, poor little thing, it's going to die if I don't take care of it. I'm going to leave it at the pet store. Oh, Mommy, don't do that. It's going to die. You know? Everybody's thinking they got to save these animals from being an animal. Take it home. Let it be your pet. You know? You're going to what? You're going to adopt it. You're going to adopt it. Like it's a kid. You're going to adopt it. Like it's a kid. Well, you're going to lose every bit of wisdom you would have attained by having that pet. You lose your opportunity to love children, love other people, humans, yeah, communicate. Hello, hi, how you doing? Wow, you live over there? That's neat. What's your house like? You know, used to really bother people when I came into their lives because nobody's like me. I'd come into somebody's life and I'd say, hey, can you show me around your house? You know? Every house I went into, every time I'd walk in, can you show me around the house? You know, yeah, really? Yeah, I want to see your house. Is that all right? I mean, I bet you got a great house, huh? You know, because everybody has a house. Their house is their house. You know, and in the heart, people want to behave in a state of hospitality. Yeah? So the first thing you ask is, do you mind if you show me around your house? That's how you enter a house. Yeah. To me, that's where it comes. That as a child, that's what I would do. Bug the crap out of people, my parents, everybody, you know, but not the people who I asked to go into their house and look around, because I would go, whoa, that's a really neat. How's that toilet work? You know, and then, you know, oh, that's nice. You know what? You have these magazines next to you read next to the toilet. That's neat, you know. I've seen that. Didn't know. Yeah, that's nice. Oh, nice bed, big bed. Wow, some people don't sleep together. You two sleep together. That's nice. You know, I just keep walking around saying stupid things. You know. You know, what a lovely laundry room. I love laundry, don't you? And, you know, and they go, yeah, I guess. You know, never talk about it. Nobody ever asked me before. You know, but every part of it. And I get to the kitchen. Oh, my gosh, look at these drawers. Those are so nice. Look at it. Yeah, flames are hot. Those are the biggest flames. How many BTUs are on there, you know? And they go, I don't know. I have no idea, you know. And so, well, it's really good. You ought to check into it because I think you got a great stove. And, well, that's wonderful. So by the time I get through the house, they would feel how much I loved their house. And it was their love that I was expressing. It's just what you do in hospitality. Yeah. So anyway, to me, that's a natural aspect of the soul. It's a symptom of the soul. And all of us have to develop these symptoms so we can get outside of our belief behind knowledge. Yeah. So imagine, now we've got this guy. We've got glaciers coming. Yeah. And we don't know anything about glaciers. Yeah. But you need to know about glaciers. You need to know why they're saying we got 9 years, 10 years. Yeah. In reality, we got a few hundred years, yeah? But when it comes down to the disastrous situations that can continue happening and can be slowed down, we have 9 years in order to slow down certain levels of destruction, yeah? Certain levels of destruction, you know, like an enormous amount of car pollution, yeah? An enormous amount. Makes an enormous difference. But now with all the electric cars coming up, within the next 9 years, we'll have a good 20% level on cars that are being driven will be electric within the next 10 years. And that'll make an enormous difference in the process of the ozone, the closing of the ozone. The amount of particulates that are in the air will slow down. That'll slow down the heating process. Yeah, but we don't know, hardly anything about that. So we need to have more of that education going on. Not a fear factor of, the world's going to, we have a climate, If you just talk in those small little terms, it means that you do not have any education in relationship to ecology. And it should have been your number one thing, because you're on Earth and you're a caretaker. So really, your only job to be educated is ecology. And once you've learned everything, and every day you're always on top of it, you're taking your plastic bags and dealing with them correctly. You're eating organic. You're doing certain things, and you're doing minimalism. Why? Because you're an ecologist. These are the only things that will make the long-term difference in the world, is that you have to not allow your government to allow you to do wrong. Yeah? They enable you. Yeah? They don't provide social welfare. And that puts you in stress, and it enables you. Yeah? So then you have bad decision making in relationship to, should I keep these plastic bags and bring my own paper bag or bring to the store and all that. Took us so long to get to that. But I started back in the hippie movement when I started health food stores and co-ops. That was the mid 1960s, not a long time ago. And it's the same people who all agreed at that time, who are still alive today, that are raising those conscious thoughts up. And it's really supporting, giving a right-hand spin, getting a soulful influence into the world. And we're starting to make decisions that are so big, like stopping production of alcohol one day, stopping putting sugar into products one day, stopping making plastic bags, stopping making plastic of all kinds, of all kinds. Stop making water bottles. You have to come in and fill your bottle, no more water bottles, jugs you have to bring, all those things. Recycling and taking things and taking from a larger quantity and filling up your container. Those are valuable, absolute valuable, important wisdom elements, And we have to do that on a one-to-one basis, We have to go, I'm going to shop from the store that has these characteristics, because many stores now are like co-ops. Now you can go to Walmart. There's a section, it's like a co-op, It's got its health food, it's got all this stuff. You just choose your mind, you make your direction, you make your choices, you minimalize. No matter where you're going, you minimalize. And minimalizing means that you are developing discernment and discrimination, and that is the actual coming into the second initiation of spirituality. And if you get past that second initiation of spirituality, you will never elect or never have in your environment a Dark Lodge member over you. They won't evolve up into that, manifest into that. Their lifestyle, their schemes, all those things will fizzle out by the time they're 10 or 12 or 15 or 30 or 40. They just won't manifest because there's no corrupt core organizations for them to facilitate and be a part of. So it's really about, the more this soul grows, no matter if an incarnated Dark Lodge person takes place, there's nothing in the environment that will facilitate them to continue growing into that Dark Lodge being. Because we're taking it on a personal level. Doing our own minimalizing. And as long as we do this, and just as a personal thing, just know that it is so big. We don't have any pets. No pets. We don't have a pet. So big. We choose to live organic. So big. We choose to grow food as much as we possibly can. So big. Yeah. The more we minimalize in every choice that we make. Yeah. You know, we go off to the country, buy some chickens. Whoa, wow, I've minimalized more. Check that one off. Yeah. Yeah. Now I'm around people I really like. Whoa, check that one off. Yeah. Yeah. And every time that goes on, that you are minimalizing harm. Yeah. And because it's soulful, and which means 100% you, personal. It's personal. You have to discern, discriminate, minimalize it down to you as an individual, and then you have to make that decision. As you make that decision, it becomes a collective consciousness. Yeah? And that's our governing body. Yeah? Not the senator. Yeah? Nobody else. Because all those people start getting the emanations of the soul into them. And they begin to be representatives of the people. And it's a collective body. So the people that come into becoming Senate and everything, they die off because they simply can't do what it is the people want them to do. And the people elect people through discernment, discrimination, and minimalizing exactly what it is they want to do in their life because they've made decisions. Yeah, that's morals. All of it is based on morals, yeah? And it's based on individual minimalizing and governing your own morals and your own self. I don't drink, yeah? I don't eat sugar, yeah? I exercise at least 3 times a week, yep. I eat really well. I'm not vegetarian. I eat wholesome out of all the food groups, and I make sure they're organic. And I eat plenty enough to make sure I'm building muscle on my body and not losing muscle. All the time, always thinking in those terms. Yeah? Never less, never ever putting in your thought form that you deserve less. You should be less. That's not true. You should be greater, you should be more beautiful. You should be more healthy. Life should be more abundant. Yeah? More. Yeah? That's what the soul is. Soul is a collective body. Yeah, it's a chalice. And the more minimal you get, the more shit you don't take in. And everything you take in stays. And it's like a jewel. Yeah, you all of a sudden your solar is paying you. All of a sudden your electric car is paying you. They're jewels. Everything is a jewel. Yeah, when you do things in the soul, in the collective field of the soul, where people are providing things for the soul. Does that make sense? Yeah. So that's how minimalism makes right reality, but it's really about the fact that you're a healer. Yeah. And it's not about a church or exercising people or anything. It's about discernment and discrimination and minimalizing your life. And once you've got that down and you really focus on the ecological aspects of the real world, yeah, and then you just, that's the reason why you minimalize. You don't go crazy over it. You know, you don't get your pickets out and say, look out for the Arctic, it's going down, you know. You know, it's going down, but there are scientists being born every day to take care of that. Engineers being born who are specially born for that reason. All you got to do is be a minimalist. Yeah. And there are gazillions of people on this earth, all chosen to do what they're meant to do under the power of saving this planet. Yeah. And it will work. It will happen. Yeah. We just have no idea that the forces of the Holy Spirit is our governing body, not your people who may run England or people who may run this country. That's how I'm healing the nations. I take things out of the hands of the Dark Lodge, yeah, get rid of it, and keep focusing on the soul of the nation, yeah. And everybody is only 2 people, yeah. There's only 2 people in the world, males and females. That's it. You can get rid of all the stereo fags and all the people who think that they're boys and girls and not. You can just get rid of that. They don't exist. They don't exist. It's just a paralleled reality in a psychological misfit game. Yeah? Something that will come and go. It just doesn't exist. But what does exist and will always exist is male and female. Yeah? That's an existence. Now, in that existence, we have to treat each other with 100% equality. Yeah? That's how we get rid of biases toward blacks or whites or Indians or anybody. Yeah? We have to come to a place to where if you're a minimalist, and this is morality, if you're focusing on minimalism, then all of a sudden you have a cooperative feeling between your complement, your male-female reality. It's a simple thing like that, you know. Your closest friend, you probably have a date, and hopefully if you're a guy, it's a girl. Yeah. So when you want to minimalize, that mate or that partner is complementary. Going, yeah, let's do this bag thing. Yeah, let's put the vegetables in there. Yeah, let's grow some things. Yeah, I love that kind of eggs. Yeah, I'll eat all that kind of food. Yeah, I'll work out. Yeah, let's do that. That is soul, not selfish. Yeah, soul empowers other people by empowering yourself. And you can only do that through minimalism. It's an act of good karma. As a human being living in the world, you have to go up into the hierarchy in order to become a human being. And to get into the hierarchy, you have to minimalize. And then you have to cooperate between male and female and make sure that there's a complementation about this minimalizing. Yeah? There's no more any, well, I do the dishes. No, I'm a girl, I do the dishes. No, I cook. No, I'm a girl, I do cooking. And minimalism, that kind of just goes away. And whoever likes to do whatever is what gets done. Yeah? You know, and it gets done. It gets done perfectly well. Yeah? Because you have morals. And no one's pulling the other person down or anything. There's only two people in the same little tiny house. Yeah? What's it take to make a meal? What's it take to wash a dish? Yeah? That's minimalism. And then you find out your life is so simple that the other person doesn't bother you if you have to make a meal, because it's so simple. And then they love the meal that you have. Yeah? That's morals. Because you have a heart big enough to move your lifestyle together. And then slowly but surely, whoever's got the biggest bias is going to go, well, I guess there isn't a difference between you and me. And then the world is healed. Does that make sense? Yeah? But it's getting rid of that. You got to get rid of that. And once that's healed, we will have all things healed. Because all the nations are healed by the love between male and female, or the governing body of humanity. Yeah? And that heals. It's not, you don't have to be in a relationship to have this happen. It's about minimalism. If you just minimalize, you are in cooperation with the masses of the whole of the planet. And there's only two people on the planet. So if you're a guy and you're minimalizing, you're doing your job. If you're a girl, you're minimalizing, you're doing your job. And that means everybody gets to minimalize. And it's not, it's not like, I'm gay and I'm minimalizing for this reason, blang, yank, fag, you know, you know, with my rainbow flag and everything, with my tight short shorts and all, you know, just let that die. Let it die. Let it go away. Yeah. Don't take that one as a friend. Yeah. Go find the one that, you know, is attracted in right relationship, and that's morals. If you make your choices through discernment and discrimination, through morals, it'll turn out all right. You don't have to worry if God says this is good or bad. If you base it on morals, you'll be okay. And all morals are based on male, female, or male, female. And that's it. Everything else is, oh, no, we don't need a cat. No, we don't need a dog. Why? Because we're going to save the planet. Yeah? We're the new group of world servers. Yeah? And we're here to serve this world through our morals, not through religious dogma or fetish food, you know, or the biggest, curliest, big-ass dog that makes you feel like you're a real human being. Can you imagine having a pet? That part of it makes you feel like you're a real person now. That is sick. That's really sick. Yeah? Because we've never come to nurturing or empathy and compassion. We expect it out of a freaking dog rather than ourselves. And we think that we're not going to develop these things unless we have a dog, empathy or compassion. That's sad. That's really sad, because that lowers your level of instincts, intuition, and character building down to a lazy, sit around, do nothing, just eat and sleep and eat and sleep. That is not you. You're the creative, active intelligence. Why would you want a cat? What? Yeah, does it make sense? Yeah, because you have to think in terms that you are a member of the next level of humanity. Yeah, where it's in the hierarchy. It's the kingdom of the soul. Yeah, and that cat and that dog is being caretaken by us who have a soul, and that puts soul into everything. The dog doesn't get a soul unless you get a soul. Plants don't get a soul unless you get a soul. It's all in them, but we can destroy this planet. We, not these plants or animals or anything else, just us. Yeah, so we got to fix this male-female thing to where we're not minimalists and we do not know love. And we have to gain that love in order to raise ourselves up away out of the animal kingdom so we can eat right and do all the right things. Yeah, I read that a long time ago. All right, so I'm going to stop there. I had a bunch more to show you, but I think talking was better. Okay, so we're going to do a prayer. We're going to do the invocation, the healing of a curse. So I just need you to close your eyes, and you're going to pray and just repeat after me. Okay, I want you to consider that when you do something like this, when you release a relationship to the Dark Lodge, that affects every person you know. Every person. Yeah, because you don't know whether or not you're stuck inside of a web of deceit. You have no idea. You don't know. Yeah. So the only thing I can offer you is the light of God, and let that enter you, and let whatever curse, whatever deception, has come your way, and how that can be changed, transmuted only by your soul. But let me help. So as Jesus, you need to call my name and take a relationship personally with Jesus. Okay? So just close your eyes. Repeat after me. Lord Jesus the Christ. Thank you for bringing me here. Lord Jesus the Christ. I open my heart today. I invite you to come inside. Come, O Lord, and save my life. Receive me today as a child of God. Forgive all of my sins and write my name in the book of life. I give myself to you, my spirit, my soul, my body. Receive me, Jesus the Christ. Now, the devil, the blood of Jesus the Christ, is against you. I command you now to leave me. I do not belong to you. I am God's property. Leave my life. I disassociate myself from you. In the name of Jesus Christ, I have received salvation. I am a child of God. Amen. Okay, now we're going to do the puja and meditation. Just relax and keep your eyes closed. Expressed as the soul. I invoke the sense of hearing in the seventh ray, hearing the word of God, the word of power. Sense of touch and the first ray as the finger of God. I invoke the sense of sight as the third ray, as the eye of God. I invoke the sense of taste as the sixth ray, as the desire of all the nations. Sense of smell as the fourth ray, the beauty of revelation. I invoke the sense of intellect as the fifth ray, as the knowledge of God. I invoke the sense of intuition as the second ray, the understanding of God. of the seven rays, to be expressed through your personality. As the first ray of ideas, the mental body, the purpose, your life. The second ray of ideals, the astral body, and your quality. The third ray of idols, your physical body and your form. The fourth ray of the fourth kingdom of humanity in balance. The fifth ray, the third kingdom, the animals. The sixth ray, the second kingdom, vegetables. The seventh ray, the first kingdom, minerals. I call upon the relationships of all the kingdoms to penetrate the personality of humanity and express its collective soul. The seventh ray and the fourth ray as the mineral kingdom. The second ray, the fourth ray, and the sixth ray as the vegetable kingdom. The third ray and the sixth ray as the animal kingdom. The fourth ray and the fifth ray as the human kingdom. The fifth ray and the second ray as the egoic soul. The sixth ray and the third ray as planetary lives. The first ray and the seventh ray as solar lives. I call upon the seven rays of all the nations to penetrate the planet Earth, to bring forth the geomantic relationships of the soul, to integrate the egoic ray and the personality ray of each nation, and to express its true expression, to make manifest peace on earth as one living body of God. I call upon India to bring forth its fourth ray of personality and to integrate its first ray of soul to manifest the hidden light. I invoke China to bring forth its third ray personality, to integrate its egoic soul into its first ray, to manifest as the indication of the way. I invoke Germany to bring forth its first ray of personality, to integrate its egoic soul of fourth ray, to preserve the truth. I invoke France and its third ray personality, to integrate its fifth ray of egoic soul, to release the light. I invoke Great Britain and its first ray personality and its second ray egoic soul to bring forth its service. I invoke Italy and its fourth ray personality to integrate its sixth ray soul, to carve the two paths. I invoke the United States and its sixth ray personality to integrate its second ray soul, to light the way. I invoke Russia and its sixth ray personality to integrate its seventh ray soul, to link the two ways. I invoke Australia and its fifth ray personality to integrate its fourth ray soul and serve the lighted way. I invoke Spain and its seventh ray personality to integrate its sixth ray soul, to disperse the clouds. I invoke Brazil and its second ray personality to integrate its fourth ray soul, to hide the sea. I invoke the entity of this planet, the planetary logos, to incarnate the life and the beingness of this planet. I invoke the expression of the second ray force into both the personality and the egoic rays of the nation and the personality of the egoic ray of humanity, to fuse itself and its light into its healing process. I invoke the esoteric law of solar energy to make manifest the cosmic force of light, love, and peace. Just relax. All right, open your eyes. Take it easy. It's okay. So, the process of the soul is the fact that it's it's a direct link to God, and that it has vibrational purity that helps to regulate whether or not we believe in something that's a lie or something that could be harmful for other people, and we carry the same belief. And those things happen. They create a lower mind, or they create an emotional block, or they create a physical inability to see beyond your limitation. So imagine that there's 3 levels in a person on an average way in which we develop spirituality. And if a person is on a really low level, we call that the physical level, physical plane, and then there's emotional plane, and then there's mental plane. And so when we study esoteric psychology, we see that there is the physical body rays, and there is the emotional body rays, and there's the mental body rays. And then there's also personality rays, and the soul ray, and the monadic rays. All those things really have a direct effect as to who you are. It doesn't mean that those rays is what makes up you who you are, because another person with the exact same rays could come out totally different, completely. So it really is about the environment that you're in. That's the strongest ray, the influence of that ray. So that's physical ray, And then there's an emotional body ray. Now that would be the ray that you have with your friends, with your parents, that you have with your peers, people of your same age group when you're young. When you get into school, you're much more aligned to kids that are 5 years old than they are 8 years old or 9 years old. So those are your peers. And they reflect through your emotional body, and it reflects onto your physical way in which you are chosen, whether or not you are appreciated by those peers. Do they find fault in you? Are you different? Are you in how many ways different? Because emotionally they have to cope with that. What is your language? How do you speak? Are you blind? Can you hear? Do you have any difficulties with your physical body whatsoever? And if you do, that becomes an emotional entanglement for the person next to you who's trying to cope with this. So it's if they have their emotional body is stable, then when they're dealing with anything, a broken tire or anything goes wrong, or something that's out of balance, not quite exactly as you believe it should be, like a person, then if your emotional body is fairly balanced, and that's where you hang out, is up in the emotional body rather than down in the physical body. If you're down in the physical body, you're a person who is very, very habitual. You have very little freedom in your life. You are the old man you're going to be at 9 years old. You're the old woman you're going to be at 9 years old. It starts right there. And if you're not going to evolve outside of that physical level of consciousness, then you manifest into, continually manifest into that physical level of being. So by the time you're 15 or 16, you're still in that, evolving into that and manifesting into that. And by the time you're 30 or 40, You now lost all your hair, you've got all these weird looks on your face, you've got all these mannerisms that come up, and they're a character that is manifested when you were a child, and they are elemental in your character. It's a habit that's stuck, and it's literally put there by your peers, by people who you see and you believe they see you in a certain way. So now you are in a way metamorphically changing, rather than evolving. You're locking in to a process that you believe you're your grandfather, or you believe that you're your father, or you believe that you're your mother, or you believe that you're somebody else that you have taken that connection with, and now you're evolving into this person. And this happens all the time. It's a real limitation to our growth. If it's a real problem if we're in a world where few of humanity is outside the emotional body. They're just barely in the emotional body. They're much more down in the personal, physical body. And when they're like that, they can't deal with, a man can't deal with a woman, and a woman cannot deal with a man. There's too many differences. Emotionally too upsetting. And from that, all these biases come in there. Oh, this is you, this is, and then that goes on to everybody. Oh, this is the way George is acting, and that's why George is acting this way. And, all these linear thoughts come in, but they're all based on physical. They're not based on any emotional real reality that you've come to know, or anything on real reality in a mental way that you've come to know. So it's all based on prejudice, biases that you make up in your mind on a lower level, because you cannot get close. You have to presume. It's the desire body working overtime. And it's that desire body that just is desiring love. All at once is to stop the unrequited love. Stop that energy from manifesting in the body the moment you come out of the birth canal. You're suffering from unrequited love. You may be a kid that was stuck in a drawer. I was stuck in a drawer. Can you imagine that? That's not good for your ego. And they close the drawer on you too, So, but that's what some parents do. I grew up at a time where they beat the crap out of you because they're afraid that if they don't, you're going to turn out to be, a murderer. It's the only way they can keep you in a moral level, thinking, distrusting that you're that kind of person, that you need to be beaten into, a way of behavior. So all that is physical. All that's very physical. No one's getting to know anybody. No one's allowing a person to become the person they're meant to be. Nothing like that is going on. So we're in a very physical world, and depending on your environment as to whether or not you're in that world. I spend a lot of my time alone, and meditation and in my own world. So, and I believe that is what's necessary by everybody. That everybody needs to be given the time and space to meditate, to find themselves, to find their central core, to begin developing that core and start working on hard things, things that are difficult to understand, things that will shock you, and then you have to cope with it. And it doesn't matter what it is. Life comes like that. You fall down. Well, how are you going to cope with it? How are you dealing with it? Are you going to get up, or are you going to be afraid of falling down all the time? What are you going to do? You need that support system in your environment so that you can gain strength that leads you through your emotional body of dealing with that physical situation and lift you up in a way that you could see it, but it's even though someone else is helping you clarify that, it's really how you're being able to see it yourself. So those are the processes of developing in just developing a person, but being able to gain soul in young children to move people. We all have to come to this grip of the fact that we have not worked out the reality between men and women, and that we haven't worked out the scenario of love, unrequited love. So if we stay physical and we're starting to work toward an emotional, these are slightly brighter people, but they could fall into the trap of being afraid of love again, and they start grabbing animals. And instead of having love, they have animals. Yeah. And instead of having love, they con some guy into having sex and then having babies, so that they can have an animal. It's the same thing. When you're not ready for it, you're just getting a pet, and now you're going to be this person now who has a pet. And there's a delusion about you own a pet, you have responsibility. You're a bigger, wiser, more responsible person. You're wiser than most people walking around without a pet. It is a psychological weird thing that's projected on you for your desire body to think that you're a better person. But in all truth, you're not. All truth, you're not. You're not a better person. Yeah, you would be a better person if you went through the hardship of learning that wasn't a good idea. And then you'd have to come into your heart and take what's in your emotional body out and not follow other people in your physical realm, and be a person who leads the way toward true love, which you learn to cook, and you learn to clean, and you learn to be a good person, wholesome in yourself, and slowly but surely you develop a relationship between male and female. Yeah, always. It's always that way. It's not about trying to get married. It's not about trying to gain a partnership, but it's about learning minimalism and developing a way to go up the ladder in your consciousness so it's not on the physical plane. And you can't do that unless you try and make friends with the opposite sex without it being sex. Yeah? You got to make friends. Yeah? So to do that, you have to minimalize and learn about minimalizing, and through that you gain cooperation. Yeah? So it's a slow process, but the outcome is that you begin developing a healing between 3 different vehicles that you don't know you have suffering. You need love. Unrequited love needs love, but that love is self-realized. It's self-actualized. It doesn't come from marriage. It doesn't come from having children. It doesn't come from having a dog. It comes from your own self-actualization of love through hard knocks, hard processes, and out of that you become calmer. You become a little, it didn't bother me that much. Oh, yes, I have strength. I'm going to get up and go do that again. I'm going to keep trying. I'm going to learn to build that house. I'm going to get this done. Every struggle you get, you build character. And that you're building for the opposite partner you have in life. Whoever that is out there, whatever you do, it affects the opposite person. And if you don't do it, that person's going to suffer hard struggles through their life, because we all depend on each other. Yeah. So every time we go through our hard knocks, you have no idea how many distant friends in the future that you have in your life that all are depending upon you to build your character so they can build their character, so your characters can be attracted to each other and come together in one great day and have this fellowship. And fellowship is where we're at. In Buddhism, we call it Sangha. In Christianity, we call it fellowship. Yeah. But it's really all about fellowship. It's not about entering a church or anything like that. It's about minimalism, learning character building, moral understanding of your own self, and the goal is to be best friends with the opposite sex without fear, and no need to have animal love, but you want human love. You want companionship, you want friendship, you want, all right relationships, but it has to happen through complementary processes. Yeah. You should be able to work together. Yeah. You should be able to do everything together. You should be able to want to be together 24/7. Now, all those things are natural. You're never not going to be together in yourself 24/7. So you should expect the same in reality, not as an expectation, but as a reality, that what is in you should be in your complement. And it's not an expectation, it's a reality. So it literally allows you to self-realize the life you're living is a good life, a real life, and it works. And it doesn't just work for you, we complement the soul, and that soul generates into what we will have as future life. So developing relationships is the key to getting out of the physical plane into the emotional plane and up into the higher mental plane. So here we're going to choose Joe, and we're going to choose Joe, and we're going to get a new president, and we're going to have all these things come about, and we're going to listen to doctors, and we're going to get news that's coming out, and people are not flashing back and forth, and death isn't the number one thing in the world, and that slowly but surely, as long as we all choose minimalism, we have all the opportunities in the world, and as long as we focus on the fact that we're doing this toward ecological healing, and minimalism, and to let go of unrequited love, and to get love. Love on the biggest scale you can ever imagine. The new group of world servers, biggest lovers, fanciest people, nicest people on the planet. There is morality there, There is no need to be afraid that, you have to find out whether or not you're gay or not, None of that is in existence because you're focusing upon minimalism. And getting it minimal is understanding male and female. You'll never understand anything. You will never understand anything until you understand that all there is male and female, and there is no such thing as a homosexual, as a transgender, any of those things. They don't exist. They just don't exist. They're a phenomenon, that is a symptom that manifests out of no actualization, no realization, It's all about the cloud of a lack of morality and an enormous amount of desire body. All it is the fulfillment of the desire body. And it affects the relationships of whether or not we can ever get past that low level of the personality, not being able to ever find love, because we can't attract it to us if we're supporting the homosexual agenda of separation. That immediately moves toward KKK, hostility, violence, war. Every single thing that we have in the world is all based on the fact that we do not have a direct path toward love. And we have alternative delusions of what is love. And they're not love at all. They're perversions. They're desires. They're maintaining individual desires to take advantage of another person, to usurp that person, and use their weakness as a desire to be fulfilled in love, unrequited love. Every perversion, every rape, everything is all justified in the delusion of unrequited love. Even the relationship of rape is taken, it's no sex involved, all it is a hostile act. But sex is involved. It's hostile sex, but it's still sex. I can show you over and over and over again perverts who can't really get it off unless they're in their mind thinking that they're raping. It's a perverted act. Donald Trump did it. It's a common thing in him. He pays little girls to let him rape them. And they have to look like his daughter, but he's really perverted, But it's a symptom. And when you're in the hierarchy like that of the Dark Lodge, those become sex magic and money magic. So we must go toward minimalism. And we can't fight this by thinking we got to join a religion or do something like that. We got to fight this by understanding minimalism, understanding the reality of man and woman, and understanding that we're here to develop ecology. And to do that, we can't have pets, because them telling us that we shouldn't be eating meat, they should be saying we shouldn't be having pets, because those are the animals that are destroying, not the pets, but the animals that have to be killed for the pets. They're mass produced in larger numbers than they are for us. If you can imagine how many people have 3 to 5 cats, people have 3 to 4 dogs. Those dogs poop out a lot. They eat a lot, you know. They're not eating carrots. They're not eating rice. They're not eating the grass on your lawn, you know. They're eating more than 5 kids, you know. And it comes in canned food, but it's still a horse. It's still another animal. And a lot of grain, and a lot of soy, yeah. You know, so it's all the things we think of, and yet we have all the people in the world starving to death. And there's no way we could ever take care of that if we don't have a proper minimalist understanding as to why we don't want pets. And we can't put that on us and say, we should not eat animals, but we should have pets. And we shouldn't have animals. We shouldn't eat animals because they cause so much harm to the environment by eating animals. That's the biggest piece of bullshit ever put on the planet. All we have to do is minimalize and stop having pets. Okay, take that one in. Enjoy.